The verb demonstrare in Latin means to show, and demonstrative pronouns are used to point out or show something. These are words like hic, this, ille, that, iste, also that, even is, idem, and ipse. This video will cover ille, illa, illud, the demonstrative that means that. Okay, so demonstratives are technically adjectives. It's that dog or this city. Because of this, demonstratives will have forms in both numbers, all 5 cases, and all 3 genders. So here's the full declension of ille, illa, illud. We'll start with the singular, ille, illa, illud for the nominative. The genitive is illius for all 3 genders, and the dative is illi in all genders. The accusative is illum, illam, illud, because remember that the nominative and accusative are identical for neuters. And the ablative is illo, illa, illo. The plural forms are illi, illi, illa for the nominative, because remember that neuter nominative plural is the same as the feminine nominative singular. Illorum, illarum, illorum for the genitive. Illis for all 3 genders in the dative. The accusative is illos, illas, illa, because remember that the nominative and accusative are identical for neuters. And the ablative plural is the same as the dative plural, illis, illis, illis. So as with any word with 30 different forms, it can be pretty daunting to look at and even to try to remember it all. Just like hic, haec, hoc, I think Latin students everywhere have memorized ille, illa, illud through rote repetition, and it's not that bad. Ille, illa, illud, illius, 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 illi, 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 illum, illam, illud, illo, illa, illo, illi, illi, illa, illorum, illarum, illorum, illis, 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 illos, illas, illa, illis, illis, illis. But you can also try to relate ille, illa, illud to things you maybe already know. The genitive singular illius is really similar to other demonstratives like huius, other adjectives like unius, and even the relative pronoun cuius. Likewise, illi is like the dative singular uni and qui. The ablative singular endings are just like the first and second declension ablatives, the long O and the long A. The plural is much easier. These are the first and second declension endings, only with an ill in front of it. And that's sick, just like in a good way, because it's so easy. Now on to how ille is used. Ille means that, and it really refers to things that are far, either physically like the cat, ille feles, in contrast to this cat, haec feles, or sometimes time or even thought. So ille feles could refer to the cat you had growing up, while haec feles is the cat you currently have. Ille is typically used as an adjective, but like most adjectives, it can function as a noun, especially when you know what the gender is. Ille isn't just that, it's that man. Illa, that woman. Illud, that thing. Illi, those men. Illi, those women. And illa, when it's neuter plural, those things. So when Caesar says, illi se defendebant, it looks like he's saying those were defending themselves, but it's more those men were defending themselves, or even just they were defending themselves. And illi here aren't Romans, but his enemy. They are far away from Caesar in mind and politics and war. Virgil writes at the beginning of the Aeneid, multil letteris jactatus ad alto. That man tossed about a lot, both on land and on sea. And at the very end, Virgil writes, after Aeneas deals the final blow to Turnus, illi solvuntur frigora membra. The limbs for that man, for him, are loosened with a chill. The illi shows a quick change in reference. Before Aeneas was the subject, but now the illi means we are thinking of someone else, that man, his opponent. Ille can also be used to show what is farther away in the actual sentence, often paired with a form of hic, which means this, to show what's nearer. So something like, discipuli sunt Alexander et Quintus. Ille est sapientior quam hic. Alexander and Quintus are students. That one, referring to the former one, Alexander, the one that is farther away in the sentence, is wiser than this one, referring to the latter one, Quintus, the one that is closer in the sentence. Also, while ille usually comes before the noun, like ille miles, that soldier, when ille comes after the noun, it takes on special significance. Miles ille. It's not just any soldier, it's that famous soldier. Orator ille, that famous orator. And finally, there are a couple of adverbs of location and motion, both in space and time, associated with ille, illa, illud. First, illik means there, literally in that place. Illink means from there, from that place. And illuk means to there, to that place. And compare each of them with the similar forms of hik, hink, and hook. So there you go, ille, illud in all of its glory. If you've studied modern Romance languages like Spanish, Italian, or French, this should look familiar. It's from this word that we get the definite articles le, la, le, il, los, etc.